All right, and last thing, I think we can end it with this. And I wanted to save this for when we had him on, but I think it'll just be cool when we have him on and people can be like, oh,
yeah,
we can refer back to this. But I had an awesome opportunity last year, I believe it was, to go on a podcast called the Growing Up Punk Podcast. And so I kind of want to, each show, either suggest or bring light a podcast that like we listen to or one of us listens to. And so this week I wanted to highlight the Growing Up Podcast.
Growing Up Punk.
Oh, sorry, what did I say?
The Growing Up Podcast.
Oh. Growing Up Punk Podcast. And the hosts are David and Aaron. Aaron, it is I've been able to become like good buddies with him since I did the show. Aaron used to play drums in a band called Means, who I saw several times.
Means was sick.
Yeah. And but we hit it off just because we like the same era of like punk rock. We liked a lot of the same bands.
Yeah.
And so talking with him was super. It was awesome. It was like talking to someone I went to like high school with, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've known forever. And then another cool thing was when we were at the time, we had I think we had just gotten mixes. I don't even think we had the full EP yet, the new EP. And so we were talking, and I just knew they did the podcast, and I talked about how I was going to school and stuff, and Aaron was like, "That's cool what you're doing for social work." He's like, "I'm a social worker." I was like, "Oh no shit!" So then we had that in common, like we connected with that, and so I remember showing him the EP early. And it was really cool because it meant a lot coming, like his take on it, because he gave me his feedback on it. And I remember it meant a lot coming from him being not just someone who's like in the scene and likes the music, but just from a social work perspective.
Yeah.
And he like, he got that. And it was cool to hear him say like, oh, this, like, I get this. This makes sense.
Yeah.
But so for anyone, I think whether you grew up in the era of punk rock that like myself and even the host of the show grew up in, he interviews all kinds of guys and bands. And what I think has been really interesting about this podcast is it's really cool to check in and see where some of these guys are now, because I would say a majority of some of his guests, they don't really like, they're not in music anymore like the way they were, right? And it's like, it's kind of cool to see, like, because how many bands did you grow up going to watch in high school, and then like, they kind of fade away.
Yeah.
They're I don't know how many years it was later, and to kind of unless they were like some like massive band, like unless your high school band was like AC/DC, you're still playing. But I don't know. It's just cool. For me, it's always nice to listen and hear them talk to like adults about their time in music and then what they're doing now. Like I don't know. I think it's a really cool. It's cool to hear where people go after music.
Yeah.
Is there last time you recommended the Adventure Zone?
Adventure Zone.
anything you've been listening to, or anything you'd want to plug?
Not really anything that like has a ton of that doesn't need the promotion already anyways. I've been on a kick of like listening to basically audio dramas that are like fully produced, audio dramas, stuff like that. And there was a show that used to be on Nerdist called We're Alive. It was like OG like zombie show. I think that even came out like the pre-Walking Dead era. And then like recently I've been playing catch up because recently they just put out like a new season of it, which it's been a while since it ended. And this is like a take like however many years later on like the original characters as like kids.
Oh, cool.
Like still living in the society, it's pretty interesting, but it's so well done. Like you could tell it's fully produced, like everything, like the sounds, everything's like immersive.
I didn't know
it's
that
pretty
was,
sick.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing until you told me about the Wolverine one.
Yeah.
Which was sick.
Oh, the Wolverine one was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just like, I think that's one of those things that I've always wanted to do. Me and my buddy Larry had a couple concepts, but it was just like, oh, this is such a huge thing to take on. But you know, that could be
never
a reality.
Never.
A reality in the future.